All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah, Shaz Yasharala, giving, of course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach, one like Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom, Shalom, this is Brother Yasharala.
Brother Ahbayah.
Khan, coming back, Shah, yet another video through the Spirit by Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. All right, it's been like 2-3 months since I did a video with this brother. All praise to Most High. Kind of introduce yourself, like just for, a quick introduction.
My name is Brother Ahbayah. I'm with
Khan,
the Atlanta camp. Known this brother for 2 years, going on 3 around.
Khan.
We've been doing videos back to back to back, but of course the Lord throws curveballs our way. But Lord willing, we get back on track. Consistently doing videos again, man. But
Hey, that's right, that's right. All praises to the Most High. So as you can see, hey, we got no time to waste, man. It's a 30-minute fire. So what a 30-minute fire is, we just be going through precepts through the Spirit, as many precepts as we can bring out, man. On certain topics, whatever, however the Spirit goes, right? So I'm gonna kick it off with the book of John, chapter 16 and verse number 15, right? Let's look at the importance of knowing, or Slaki 15 verse 16, the importance of knowing what it means, right, to be chosen. This is the book of John 15 verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So the Lord said, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. Right. So you have certain people saying, oh yeah, I came to Christ, I chose Christ. If you're saying that you chose to come to Christ, and that was nothing of the Most High, it was nothing of Yahweh Shai, you're erring, because the Lord said, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit. Yeah, we know that, Israel is the chosen nation, but within Israel you have the chosen, right, of the chosen, right, which will be certain Israel, the elect, right, and even us that's called to this truth, man. Right? The Lord said, many there be that are called, but few are going to be chosen. Right? But Khan, you got it, King.
get a piece of the match up with that. Just John chapter 6 and verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father which have sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. So again, you have to be chosen by the Most High God and His Son. You can't just walk up in the temple. You can't just go to King David, man. You can't just be no one just going to King Solomon. He got to call you in there, man.
Right.
What's called King Solomon called Bathsheba. King David called certain women, called certain men to him. You can't just walk in there if you want to. The same thing with the Most High God and His Son Yahweh Shai. They have to draw you. You can't just choose yourself, man. So the chosen of the people, of course, you got Israelites. They're God's chosen people. But then you got the chosen of the chosen. Now, these chosen people, they're going through hell, but they're keeping the faith. They're going through much tribulation, but they're keeping the faith. Why? Because that's the Lord, man. The Lord has a certain spirit on the chosen people to produce fruit, like it says in John 15, verse 16. I want to get another precept real quick. This is the book of John, chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 3, and it reads, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. So who's the shepherd? Yahushua the shepherd, man. He's the chief shepherd, like it says in 1 Peter chapter 5. So who's the sheep? We're the sheep. It tells you that in Jeremiah. So he knows you by name. The elect, he knows them by name. That's why in John 1, verse 47, it says, behold, an Israelite indeed, man. Talking about Nathaniel, right? So he knows your name. He knows what name you're coming in. He knows what your attributes, your characteristics, the things you love, the things you dislike. He knows everything about you. Why? Because you're his sheep. I'm going to keep going. Verse 4. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. It's not coincidence when someone's breaking down the scriptures to you, you stayed and listened. Some brothers came into this truth different ways on different folks. You probably was on the highways and byways with your wife, kids, or whoever by yourself, just walking. Next thing you know, you see brothers with the 12 tribes chart trying to teach you. And out of nowhere, your spirit just told you, hey, I'm going to listen, stuff like that. And guess what? Now you're in the truth. You got fringes on, got a meat tree, got a staff. Now you're keeping the commandments. Now you're on fire. That was predestined, man. Man's going to honor the Lord. That's Proverbs 20 and verse 24, right? And I'm going to keep going real quick. John 10 and verse 5. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. Who's the strangers? different philosophies, whoredom, wickedness, sin. When sin is presented to you, you gotta be like Joseph. They're gonna be like Joseph and flee, man. Why? Because they're chosen. No matter what they do, they're predestinated to be righteous, man, to be on fire for the Lord, and they'll always keep the faith, even when they're at the lowest point. They will always keep the faith, no matter what. But you got it, King Salaki.
Con. Hey, those are excellent points and precepts. I got that precept of what the brother was saying. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 14, and verse number 4. It says, "These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God." This is talking about who? The elect, right? The elect, man. These are the top men. These are the 144,000. You ever wonder why you go so hard in this truth? You ever wonder why you love Yahweh Shah? Nobody else around you love Yahweh Shah like how you do, right? You ever wonder why? Like these things, we have to pay attention to these things, right? We're comparing ourselves to the most holy men that ever walked the earth, right? Damn, like man, I wish I was on fire as Paul. I wish I was on fire as Isaac. Man, look at the works of Abraham. He was on fire. And look the faith that Jacob had. Look at all the mighty. We're comparing ourselves to the top men of the earth. We have to understand that, right? So when you're feeling down and out, like you know you're not worthy enough, right? When you're feeling like, damn, like man, I keep going on, or this and the third, like, oh man, I don't know if the Lord really dealing with me, brother. Pick yourself up, man. Pick yourself up because guess what? I'm gonna get this precept as well, man. Right? You have to understand that you're comparing yourself to the top men in the earth, right? That's hey, that's you have to understand that, right? This is the book of Luke, chapter. Let me see, right? This one I want, right? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get into the other Bible, right? It's the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse number 31. It says, "What? But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." The Lord said, "It's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Yeah, we're striving each and every day to get the kingdom, right? We're fasting, we're praying, we're doing everything that we can to get that kingdom, right? It's not going to be an easy task, but the thing is, at the end of the day, the Lord said that it is his pleasure to give you the kingdom, man. Guess what? The Lord, he wants you to give, he wants you to have that Proverbs 31 woman. Or if you're a woman, he wants you to have that mighty man, right? Why not? Right? Why would the Lord set you out to destroy you? You're calling upon his name, right? You're reading, you're praying, you're fasting, you're trying to seek the Lord all your heart. Why would he want the worst for you, right? Why wouldn't he want you to have the kingdom? Because look at all the other people, man. Compare sometimes kind of look at the other people in the world and how much farther do you exceed them? You know, yeah, they have the car, the money, the clothes, whatever. They might have the wisdom of this world, but guess what? They don't have the thing that you have, the faith of the Most High, right? The fear of the Most High as well. You have to understand that you have the fear of the Most High. If you're on fire in this truth, you have the fear of the Most High. What's stopping you from going to that club on Friday night? Right? Instead of you uh, uh going to that club or going to that person's house or smoking that blunt on on the Sabbath, your mind is to do a video. Your mind is to go out to camp, right? And to literally suffer in the rain, in the tumult, in the wind, in the all different type of conditions, and literally get yelled at by your people, by demons, vexations. Your mind is to do that instead of going into a club like all these other people in the world. You have to understand that that's something special, man, that not a lot of people have. This drive, this confidence, this power, right? And this will to keep the law. People don't even have the will to keep the law. They don't have the strength to do that. So you have to understand that, hey, guess what? All praises to the Most High, of course, but that's you being chosen by the Most High. Khan, you got it, King.
And these men, you never know. You may be chosen, you may not be, but Lord willing, you are, and you strive to be. But the thing is, these men are very powerful, man. I want to get this precept real quick in Romans chapter 8 and verse 33 to link up with Revelation 14. Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifies, man. So no one can lay anything to your charge. Yeah, he's wicked. He's a blasphemer. Also, him doing this, that, and the third. He's a sinner. The Lord said you can't lay anything to their charge, man. Why? Because the Lord forgave them of their sins. Acts 5 and 31 goes into the Lord dying for Israel's sins, man. But really, I don't want to get too deep, but that's really going to the elect if you go deeper into it, man. The Lord died for his elect. He said he laid down his life for the sheep, you know?
Con. Right.
In John chapter 17, he says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world. You
Mm,
know, you have a lot of Israelites in the what? In the world, man.
right.
So really the Lord, he was always caring for the elect. He laid down his life for the elect because they're very precious in his eyes, man. And guess what? You may be having your downs, you may go off, man. But even Isaiah, he said he had unclean lips. Let me get this real quick. In Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 5, then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. So you may be unclean, man. You probably went off the other day. You probably fell. It wasn't intentional. We're in this flesh, man. You're going to
Right.
fall. Our forefathers fell. Hey, Paul, he was on fire. He said, hey, man, he was on the top of he was the chief apostle. Yeah, he fell too. He had a thorn in his side, man. So
Uh,
if Paul was up there, man, kind of right behind Yahushua, and he fell, how much more you? But the thing is, what happened? Let's see what happened to Isaiah. Let's keep going. Salaki, Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 6. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar, and he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this have touched thy lips, and thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged, man. So the Lord purges out your sins. Because we're dust and ashes, man. Our righteousness are as 50 racks. So no matter what you do, you keeping the law is not going to justify you at the end of the day. Is what? Your faith in the Most High God and Him forgiving you in the end of the day, man. And who does He forgive? His chosen, His elect. But I won't get one more precept, Salak. I'm going to go back to Romans 8. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, and verse 29. And it reads, For whom He did foreknow, He also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom He did predestinate, them He also called. So certain men are predestinated from the foundation of earth to be called and to be chosen by the Most High God. I'm gonna keep going. Slakia. And whom He called, them He also justified, and whom He justified, them He also glorified. So, brother, you may be one of those people who was called, who was justified in this thing, and you have a good name and a good reputation in the third heavens. Don't you know there's a book of life that has everybody's name in? Well, chiefly the righteous names in it, man. Not everybody's name is in that book of life. Only those who what? Who believe in the Most High God in this thing, man, and His Son Yahushua in truth and sincerity. I'm gonna get one precept that validate that. This Luke chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 17. And it reads, And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. So these 70 disciples, they were happy, man. They came to Yahushua saying, hey, no, these devils, they obey us. When I cast them out, they listen. If I tell them to come out that man, he comes out. But let's see what
right.
the Lord, let's keep going. Luke 10 and verse 18. And he said to them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So the elect, they have power, man. The chosen, those who know the name of God, the Lord gives you power to cast out demons. The Lord
Con.
gives you power. That's why we on the highways and byways. You shaking a hand at Esau boldly. You tell a brother to put down a cigarette and he puts it out in the sewer. That's you just casted out a demon. You
Con.
brought somebody into this truth. Why? Because the Lord gave you power to do so, man. Get tempted, you cast it out, man. You call upon the Lord, it then goes away. Guess what? You have power, man. We gotta understand that, right? Let's keep going. Uh, verse 20, Luke 10 and verse 20. Notwithstanding, and this rejoice not. The Lord said, don't even rejoice in that. But let's keep going. That the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven, man. So Yahweh knew something. He knew about a book that's in the spiritual world that the Most High God has. The Most High God has many books, man. You can read about that in Psalms, right? He has a book about your members. how tall you are. Got everything to the centimeter, man. 6 foot. This I don't know how brothers, their heights and stuff like that. He knows how many hairs you got on your head, man. Look at the brother Yasharala. He got a lot of hair on his head, man. All praises. Lord, exact number, man. Why? Because he have care for his elect, man. But the thing is, not everybody's name is written in the book of life. Even Moses, he talked about the book of life, man. Let me get one more precept, so let's go to that real quick. The man name that's written in the book of life. You had that, Salaki? Can you have that one?
Oh, the book of life. I can get it.
No, you straight. I thought you had it. I thought you said something. My bad.
Oh, okay, kind of Salaki.
Are you? What kind of man name that's written in there are those who are righteous in the eyes of the Lord. But this is our Exodus chapter 32. I'm gonna start at verse 31. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, "Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold." So when you read Exodus 32, they was going off. Moses was in a mount, and it was like, man, Moses been up there for a long time, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? They started going to Aaron. Aaron said, "Give me the some gold from your earrings, blah 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 blah, stuff like that." And they made what's it called, calves of a calf of gold, man. They started worshiping it. Let's keep going. Verse 32, Exodus 32 and verse 32. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. So Moses, he was known as the meek man. That's Numbers chapter 12. The meekest man upon the face of the earth. So he said, hey, forgive them for this. You know what I'm saying? Forgive them and blot me out of your book of life. Let's keep going. Verse 33. And the Lord said to Moses, whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out my book. And the thing is, let they go off a lot. But again, you can't lay anything to their charge, man. So again, like I said, sometimes it comes down to the point if you're really chosen or if you're really not. If you're really not, and Lord willing, whoever's watching this, man, and the brother Yasharala himself are chosen by the Most High God. Because it's not a coincidence that y'all still in the spirit. Y'all still in the truth. You woke up to another beautiful day. You know what I'm saying? You got back home safely. That's a blessing in itself. You probably ate. You still know the name of the Most High God. A lot of people was in this truth, and guess what? They got bugged out. They don't even know the name of the Most High God no more. They're not in the truth no more. They don't keep His commandments no more because they wasn't predestinated from the foundation of the earth. But Khan, you got it, King.
Hey, that's right. Hey, that's right, man. Those are mighty points. Mighty points. And I'm gonna get this precept on that as well, man. Right. This is the book of Second Chronicles. Right. Actually, I got like two precepts on that. Hold on. Let me get this one first. It's the book of First Chronicles, chapter, what is it? Con. This is First Chronicles chapter 16 and verse number. I'm gonna start at verse. Let's see here. Right, 22. Con, our praises. It says, saying, so I'm gonna start at verse 20. It says, and when they went from nation to nation, and from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sakes. So the Lord, he reproved kings for Israel's sake. He reproved kings. He set down whole kingdoms. He delivered his whole nation, Israel, out of the hand of Pharaoh. Right? So the Lord, he did miraculous works for his people. Delivered them out of the Persian and Median captivity, delivered them out of the Babylonian captivity, the Grecian captivity, etc., etc. And the Lord has reproved kings for our sakes. Right? So how much more you who's actually trying to strive righteously in this wicked world? Right? Again, people our age, man, they're not doing the things that we're doing, that the Most High, of course, is having us to do. Right? Hey, elders, guess what? You have elders in this truth. And the elders in the world, they're not doing the same things that the elders are doing in this truth. You have a lot of elder Jakes. They're just in the Christian church, right? And they got their women running everything, being a woman pastor. But no, you got elders in this truth, man. Spitting that wisdom that they have acquired from their years and mixing that with the truth and being able to be mighty teachers, right? So it's with all aspects, man, right? It's with all aspects. But the Lord said, look, I'm keep going in verse 22, saying, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. He said, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. Are you not anointed from the Lord? Right? Yeah, we don't know if we're chosen to receive salvation, but that's something different. You can tell who's anointed, man. Hey, guess what? David, he was anointed, right? I'm gonna get that real quick in the book of First Samuel, chapter 16. You are anointed. How do you know that? I'm gonna go to well, actually, I'm gonna get this first. All right, this is the book of First Samuel, chapter 16, and verse number 13. I'm gonna start verse 12. It says, and he sent and brought him in. Now he was ready and withal of a beautiful countenance. So on a spiritual level, you might have a beautiful countenance within your spirit. You might have the Lord, he looks at you and you have a beautiful spirit to the Lord. You know, you may not be a supermodel, man, on the outside. And the Lord doesn't care about that though, right? He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about your muscles, right? He doesn't care about, if if you got, you're rated at like a 9 out of 10. Like people look at you, oh, I'll rate you a 9. That's madness. Musa''s not looking at your face. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna rate this brother a 9. I'm gonna rate that sister, she's like a 7.5, right? That's not how the Most High gets down. That's how man gets down, not the Most High. It says, look, with all of a beautiful countenance. So on a spiritual level, you might have a beautiful spirit to the Lord and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. So out of all your friends, out of all your classmates, whatever, your co-workers, out of all your siblings, and of everybody in your family, the Lord chose you. Don't you think that's not something to be spiritual? That's not something to be harped on, right? That's just going to be overlooked, right? It's just that's just something to throw under the. No, the Lord, he chose you for a reason. Why didn't he choose your brother? Why didn't he choose your sister? How come he didn't choose that classmate? I mean, it seems like he has better grades than you, right? Yeah, I mean, he runs faster than you. He jumps higher than you. Why? How come the Lord didn't choose him, right? Hey, the Lord, he chose you for a reason. He anointed you, man. It says what? Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. So in the midst of everybody's looking and they see you change. They see you changing your ways and actually following the Bible, man. You went from not reading the Bible at all to reading the Bible every day, right? And everybody's looking at you, right? It says what? And anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. So the spirit came upon David from that day forward. So the spirit fell upon you from that day that you came into the truth, that the Lord anointed you with that spiritual oil. What you think you're not anointed, right? What's making you do these videos? What's making us do this video, man? I didn't just wake up and then just, all right, feel like I'm gonna do a video. I just going to do a video today. I didn't even plan this. Hey, me and the Bible was like, hey, the brother literally called me about 2 hours ago, and then boom, we here on the live. What you think? I woke up. Hey, no, this literally it's the spirit of the Most High, right? It's literally the spirit of the Most High. And I'm gonna get this preset real quick on that, and then you got it. This is the book of First John chapter 2 and verse number 20. It says, but ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. So we have an unction from the Holy One. What does that mean, an unction? That means a holy anointed, right? And therefore we're able to know all things. What does that mean, knowing all things? Not literally, right? But on a certain spiritual level, meaning that we know everything about the truth, right? We're able to go into this Bible, and your knowledge outweighs everybody in the world. You might be 20, 19, you might be teenage, you might be whatever, young 20s, and your wisdom is like that of a 40-year-old or of a 30-year-old. How is that, man? How is that? Your wisdom is far above your age. Why is that? Because of this Bible, man, right? Because you're in this truth, because the Lord has anointed you with that spiritual anointment. Therefore, you know all things, right? And so, Khan, you got it, King.
The thing is, the Lord, he doesn't always choose the top man. Like the
Right.
brother going to the what's it called? What do you call him in school, man? The school athlete, athletic.
Right.
I don't know what they call them in school, but he got everything. He got the
Oh,
he said what?
the MVP.
MVP.
Yeah, the most valuable player.
Come, man. He's good in every sport. Football season comes, varsity. He's starting. He's a quarterback, man. Right? Basketball season coming. Guess what? He's playing. Track season coming. He got it. And guess what? He got all the females, man. He got the nice friend. What your brother said, man. He got everything a man can ask for. The nice cars, a big family. But that's what the Lord didn't choose him. Then you got that one kid walking around, bumping into everybody. My bad. Sorry. Glasses falling off. Don't know what's going on. Right? All hell just breaking loose, man. But guess
Right.
what? The Lord chose that man, and he going to build that man up. If you buy a Mercedes, I mean, yeah, you buy a Mercedes, but it doesn't need work, man. But then you got that one grandpa who goes to get that jacked up car. That jacked up car, he put good pieces in it, get a good engine. He builds it up, man. Guess what? It's like it's brand new. You turn that car on, got that muscle, engine in it, man. It sounds nice and it runs smoothly. So which one's more honorable? The one you bought it is already nice and stuff like that, or the one you took it from the damn what's it called? The yard, right? The trash yard, whatever. You built it up and it looks nice and it runs smooth. That's more honorable, man. That car would get more praise. So same thing with the Lord. The Lord would choose the poor, the destitute, those who are without. The Lord would choose that man or that woman, and guess what? And built them up, man. Let me get this precept in Psalms 34 and verse 6. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. So a poor man, he's going to cry out to the Most High God, and the Lord will save that poor man from all his troubles. Because the Lord loves the poor man. You got many precepts on that, like James 2 and verse 5. You know what I'm saying? Psalm 34 and verse 6. Even David, he even called himself poor. Let me get that real quick in 1 Samuel 18 and verse 23. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 23. And it reads, and Saul's servant spake those words in the ears of David. And David said, seem it to you a light thing to be a king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed. So even David himself said he was lightly esteemed, a poor man. You know what I'm saying? But yet the Lord still chose David. Saul was called a goodly kid, man, if I'm not mistaken. A nice family, the son of Kish, if I'm not mistaken. He comes from a good background. You know what I'm saying? So, but guess what? Saul was the Most High God so-called overthrown Saul. Then he set up David, a man after his own heart. Even though David was poor, David was on a low estate. But guess what? Every time you say David, it's like you have to say king right in front of it, man. So the Lord can give you a name, man. You can have nothing. Everybody has to call Yasharala King Yasharala now, man. Everybody has to call you King so-and-so. Everybody has to call you Sarah. Because the Lord brought you from nothing to wherever your heart can wish for in righteousness. Right? I'm going to precept. This is the book of John. Salaki. This is the book of Judges, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 12. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. So the Lord can send an angel to you. The Lord is with you, thou mighty man of valor. But let's see what this man Gideon said. Verse 13. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? You may be, if you with me, how come I'm going through all this hell? How come I'm going through turmoil, affliction, physically, mentally, spiritually? How come I'm in a poor state? How come my people are drugged out in Atlanta, man? How come we have people like Tyree Nichols? How come George Floyd had to get a pointy knee on his neck? How come all these things are befalling us? If you're with me, why are these things happening to me? All right, I'm gonna keep going. And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. So you might have that spirit, and the Lord's not with me, man. If the Lord's with me, how come I'm going through all this? I feel like I'm hated. How come my spirit is always downcast? It's casted down. I'm not as zealous no more. How come it feels like that? Right? Verse 14. And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midian. Have not I sent thee? And the Lord's not going to go back and forth with you. He's going to give you a command. It's either you're going to do it or you're not. He said, I'm going to read it again. And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might. So the Lord acknowledges that you have strength. You have power. You have might, you know. And thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And the Lord sent the disciples out, the apostles out to teach. So the Lord can come to you and tell you to go in the highways and byways to save our people from oppression, and save our people from that drug, that weed, that alcohol, that harlot, that man that's beating her up, man. The Lord sends you out there to teach the people. You think it's a coincidence? You was in the world doing God knows what, and now you got fringes on. You got a different mentality. You walking with a perfect posture, like a man of the Lord, man. And you're out there teaching the people. That's not a coincidence, man, because the Lord sent you out there, just like He did for Gideon. But this is the point, though. Verse 15, and He said to him, "O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel?" So how am I going to save Israel, man? How? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. So you, on a physical level, you may be the youngest brother, man. You may be the only man, maybe the older brother. I don't know. Your family, they despise you, right? Your brothers are taller than you, a better physique, look better
Right.
than you, right? They got more accolades, I can say. I guess you can say more degrees, more financial aid, man. They're just better than you, no matter what. On a spiritual level, man. You know, you may everybody around you seem like they prospering. They got this, they got that. If an angel came to you, man, they told you, he told you to do this and the third. Some brothers might be like, how come you didn't send that man right there? Look at him. He got all the women. He got the jewelry on. He got a nice car. How come you don't send him? Because the Lord didn't send him. The Lord didn't go to him, man. He's of the world. You're not of the world, brother. Why? Because the chosen, they have a heart after the Most High God. Right? I'm gonna keep going. Salakia. Verse 16. And the Lord said to him, surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one. And the Lord, He's not even paying attention to what you're saying. Because the Lord doesn't care about that, man. He doesn't care about wealth. He doesn't care about how you look. This flesh is corruptible. So the Lord looks on the spirit of the elect. The Lord knows what type of time the elect can be on. The Lord knows you at your perfect state. The only reason why you doubt, because you just can't see it right now, man. That's the only reason why you doubt. I know our brother said the other day, you know, if you look back on what you accomplished to now, you wouldn't have never thought you'd be here, man. You would never thought you would be here. So the
Right.
Lord, He already knows the future. He knows where you're going to be at. He knows you're going to be at the top. He knows the chosen. They're going to be the ruling governing class in the kingdom of heaven. So you doubting is just because you don't see it yet, man. The Lord knows where you're going to be at and in due season, you know. But kind
Con,
of,
con. Hey, that's right. That's exactly right, man. Con, and I'm gonna get this precept on that as well. This is 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 8. It says, "Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David." Right? Did you bring this out?
like,
Okay, con. Just making sure. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth." You see that? So, hey, and now we aspire, man, to be like in verse 9, to have that great name, man. That's not where we're in this truth, but we aspire to have a good name, man. We aspire to have a great name and a legacy to leave behind. You know what I'm saying? Hey, of course, man. Hey, like the 12 apostles, they have a legacy. Everybody knows about Peter. Everybody knows about John. They've heard these names. Then there everybody's name in Northern Kingdom is Juan, man. And that's not even trying to be make fun of them. They're literally, that's literally coming from a Northern Kingdom Israelite had told me that. Said that, guess what? Juan is like the most common name in Northern Kingdom. And that's named after who? John, right? So his name is living on perpetually, right? Moses. Everybody knows about Moses, right? Now, are we in this truth to be the most well-known Israelite? No, right? Because you have Israelites. You read the Chronicles, you read Samuel, you read First Kings, Second Kings. You have a lot of prophets whom you might mention their names and not everybody knows about them. Like Adio, right? Or Hananiah, or something like that, right? And these men, they're mighty men as well. They had their own books, right? They literally had their own books. Now we don't have them today, but they had their own books, but they're just not as popular, man. But guess what? That doesn't change the fact about nothing, man. The Most High still might see them as 144,000. Just because they're not popular doesn't mean nothing, right? It says what? Slakia. It says, "I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep." So the Lord is basically saying to David, "I took you from being just a base Israelite to being ruler over my people Israel." Look, if you're teaching on the highways and byways, you're a man in this truth, man, an Israelite man. The Lord, He took you from being just a Jake in the world, right? You just doing Jake worldly things. He took you from that to being a ruler in Israel, man, to being a king again, to being a prince, right? To having power, like your brother said, having power. You see that? So that's a cold transition, man. Right? He took you from just smoking weed every day to then breaking down the words of the Lord correctly, right? And having all the wit and having wisdom. That's mighty. Kind of turn your whole life around. So that's something that we have to pay attention to. All right. That's something that we have to pay attention to. And of course, give all honor, glory, and praise and Yahweh Shah for that. Right. But we can't just brush that under the hood. Sometimes we just gotta take a step back and re-examine that and just look how far you've gone. Right. That's how you keep going. You have to look back at why you started. Why did you start? Where did you come from? What was your starting point? And then you look back at that, you like, damn, that's how far I went. And that's with anything, man. Running, you know what I'm saying? You kind of your mile time was 10 minutes, and then now your mile time is 7. But you just when you look back at that, like, damn, I decreased my mile time for 3 minutes. That's crazy. Or maybe you're working out. You started off at 135 bench press, and now you're at 225. And you look back, I'm like, damn, I was benching 135, and then now I'm benching 225. Hey, that's a big progress right there. Same thing with this truth, man. Look at you when you first came in. You didn't know any precepts. It's kind of like, ah, man, where's Philippians? You said Filipinos. You said the Filipinos. Right? You was quoting it wrong, and and look how far you've gone, man. So same thing in this truth, man. So it kind, but yeah, we are kind of reaching our time. If you had a quick closing precept, like, you can bring it up.
You might have to get yours first, probably.
Okay, come. Yeah, just a quick one, right? It's the book of Galatians, right? This is Galatians chapter. I'm just bringing up any precept, honestly. Galatians chapter 5 and verse number 25. It says, "If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit." So if we're living in the spirit of who? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we also want to walk in the spirit, man. And we know sometimes this world is going to be enticing. This world is going to throw us off, but we're going to try to walk in the spirit at all times, man. Right? Walk in the fruits of the spirit, right? Walk in humility, because that's what the Lord is looking for, right? And understanding what the Lord wants from us, man. And not walking in the spirit of the world, right? So, all praises.
Con, I'm gonna get this precept in Acts, man. This book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 15. And it reads, "But the Lord said to him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake," man.
Mm.
Paul, he was known as a chosen vessel, man. And guess what? The Lord used him as a vessel for clean uses, man, to go teach the people of Israel. And the same thing he may be doing with you, man. Slowly building you up. Paul was in the truth at the least for 14 years. It tells you that in Galatians, man. For 14 years, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2 Corinthians. 14 years, man. So the Lord will build you up. And he was wicked. And we used to be wicked, man. And you probably only in the truth for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Right? So the Lord slowly builds you up. And he's going to use you, man. You just got to wait. Yes, you gotta wait, man. Everything is in due season, but he will continue to use you, man. As a chosen vessel to bear your name to the children of Israel, to be a light, to be an example, man. Because why? King, princess. You're a chosen vessel of the Most High God. But
Khan, that's right. That's right. So with that, all praise to Ahbayah, Mashiach, one more like Ahbayah, right? It's brother Yasharala.
brother Ahbayah.
Khan, come back to yet another video through the spirit power Yahweh Ahbayah, and Kwame Yasharala. Shalom, shalom.